first time the American public was introduced to the term surge force during the global war on terror came in May 2004. Their mission was to stabilize the area, which boasts the birth of the Taliban, so that the citizens of that province could participate in the upcoming historic presidential election. When the operation was over and the Marines withdrew, the Taliban was on the run and the people were able to vote, which they did by the tens of thousands. At that time, it was described as the most successful military operation of Operation Enduring Freedom.
Hey, we need more guys in here! Hey! Help over here! Back up.
Now, more than 3 years later, a new surge strategy is being employed, this time in an unpopular war by an unpopular president. In all, an additional 30,000 U.S. troops were phased into Iraq in 2007 with the hopes of giving the Iraqi government some breathing room to work out its plethora of problems. For the Americans, this surge force was considered the last chance to save face in a country spinning out of control. Offensive action in Iraq rarely gets any more intense. This battery of Paladins, 155 millimeters in all, has fired more rounds in its first 4 months than a nearby smaller battery has fired in the last 15 months.
Fucking work. This way, it'll blow. Down the right alley. Oh, look at that, man! That's like a fucking heavy helmet gun. I'm a goddamn professional.
All around the country, U.S. and Iraqi troops are moving into regions previously ignored by coalition forces.
Hopefully don't start shooting at us from the left side.
This southeast Baghdad neighborhood called Mechanics Elbow hasn't had an Iraqi or American presence for months after forces were redeployed to battle al-Qaeda in neighborhoods to the north. That left the people here to their wits and the mercy of the militias and terrorists. There's not enough Iraqi army units to go around, so these cavalry soldiers work the neighborhood on their own. House by house, the soldiers fan out, looking for signs of terrorists and their supporters. All homes are searched, and all fighting-aged males are questioned and then tested for explosives residue.
Come on, come on, come on! Yellow. Who's got the hooligan?
Taking the fight back to the terrorist home court is the end result of a new strategy underway in Iraq. It's freeing up U.S. troops and allowing them to go on the offensive against al-Qaeda in Iraq.
We're in, bridge open.
After a tough summer for the terrorists and a lackluster Ramadan offensive, U.S. commanders say the group is highly disorganized and on the run. A lot of the recent success, commanders believe, starts here in small Sunni villages across Iraq that have had enough of the killing. By the hundreds, local men, scores of whom had been attacking U.S. forces at one time or another, are now turning their eyes, ears, and guns toward al-Qaeda. The new approach has several names, the most common being used is concerned citizens. It's a program with direct roots to the successful Anbar Awakening movement that has dramatically slowed the violence in such areas as Ramadi and Fallujah to just a trickle. Since early summer 2007, the program has been quickly spreading east to areas surrounding Baghdad and beyond. The Shia-led government has been resistant to recognize these groups the closer they are to the city of Baghdad, so the U.S. military is bypassing the government and is working directly with local Iraqis and their own campaign toward reconciliation with the disenfranchised Sunni minority. Iraqi sheikhs and the people they represent are coming to the conclusion that they have more to gain by supporting the Americans versus the heavy-handed and often deadly edicts handed out by al-Qaeda. Several military intelligence officers say the Iraqis are finally understanding that the quickest way to get rid of the Americans and reclaim their lives is to help the Americans get rid of al-Qaeda and its supporters. First, sheikhs are signed on with the promise of funding to support the local security group. The sheikh then recruits men from his area to man the plethora of checkpoints that will soon become the eyes and ears of the Americans. The men are screened, fingerprinted, receive a biometric scanning, and a basic health physical before being vetted into the program. Once they have been accepted using their own weapons, the men work as local security in the areas where they and their families live. Besides helping lower U.S. combat deaths, American leaders on the ground believe they're addressing several issues at once with this approach. It's allowing them to build extensive intelligence networks. It's pumping money into the economy by giving jobs to the unemployed. It's also allowing Americans to turn over sections of land to trusted local leaders, giving commanders more room to maneuver their own forces better.